4th of October 2004. That is the date when Mortal Kombat Deception released. So today, October 4th, 2024, the game turns 20 years old now. It's Deception's 20th anniversary, which is kind of crazy and really cool. So I want to do a video. I mean, I'll just call it Happy Anniversary Deception or something like that, because I don't have anything specific for this video. I don't have a retrospective to do, because that's been done to death, right? And that's effort. That's effort, and I don't have the time to make that video by the deadline, but I don't have some time to record a video. I just give some thoughts on the game. I know it's more like just giving my personal experience with the game, I guess. But I just want to make something, for the anniversary, because it's pretty cool. I'm recording on the Wednesday, so 2 days before. I might do a speed run for old time's sake. Might do a dog percent speed run. I'm not gonna explain what that is. If I talk about deception speedrun, that can be its own video. But again, I don't have time to do that for the anniversary, so that's not gonna be an anniversary thing. But that might be something I do. But yeah, this is just crazy. If you know me, you know that I consider this to be the best Mortal Kombat game by quite a large margin. I mean, my top three, once I got my hands on all of them, was just the 3D era, right? Like Deception, then Dead Alliance, and again interchangeable. At least initially, I think Dead Alliance is better now than Armageddon. I think Armageddon becomes better once you mod it to have stuff like the Versus mod or random towers, but with the game and its current limitations, like looking at it as an official game, and all the issues with Armageddon, which people still kind of exaggerate the issues with that game. A lot of stuff was just sort of standard for MK at the time anyway, but some stuff was broken and there's a lack of polish in certain stuff, which does noticeably harm some stuff. And I think the more you play, the more you sort of realise that. But it's still a cool game. But that's only fell down to the weakest 3D MK for me. But Deception's always been on top. And I think that's sort of unanimously agreed, even for the people who don't think the 3D era is the best era of MK. Which I think those people are wrong, but this is what it is. I think Deception's always seen as the best one of the three, and just one of the best in general. Which rightfully so. I mean, it's got the best content, right? It's got like 4 game modes in one. Puzzle Con, which is rad. I'm not a Tetris fan, and I actually like this. I do not like many puzzle games, but I actually do enjoy Puzzle Combat. I think that's a great little mini game thing. Weirdly, the hardest part of the game, like I cannot get past it on medium difficulty. I might be in it on hard. I might have. I can't remember. Definitely not max. I've still never done that. And I'd say maybe I do that for the anniversary, but I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not good enough to beat the max difficulty AI. Not for like the full tower. Once the difficulty gets higher up, it's impossible. Could beat the first few, I suppose. But I feel like it gets impossible. It is possible, just not for me. But yeah, the mode it's a great little extra. Like this alone it's better than most of the side content in MK games. Like this alone, it seems small and silly, and I suppose it is, but there's no replay value, I suppose. And again, it just feels like an extra game, a simple one, but it is a well thought out puzzle game. It's not like this fucking it's not like a cheap Tetris rip-off or anything. It has its own style, has its own gameplay, has different abilities. It's sick. And then Chess Combat, which I think Chess Combat is peak Mortal Kombat. I think it is the best way to experience a Mortal Kombat game. I think it offers the best gameplay. Even now, as someone who's mastered it, and I have to intentionally not exploit spells to get the power squares and immediately win. Well, not even the power squares, just do an exchange right to the leader. And then, unless the leader beats you, of course, or they teleport you or whatever. There's still countermeasures to doing stuff like that, but returning to speed running again. I have three chess combat world records. Not that there's steep competition, but the people who have partook in chess combat speedrunning, they're all good at their games. So there is a challenge to getting at the top, I suppose. And for any percent, you just do an exchange, and then you on the second turn you beat the leader. Very simple to do, right? But there is a lot to the game. I mean, there's cheese strategies like that, but there's a lot to it, and you can definitely just counter that move anyway. It's just the AI that can be a bit dumb, and obviously if you play better than the AI, then you'll beat the leader on turn 2. But there are a lot of ways to make the match go fast, or you can just have a long one, right? Like I've been doing chess combat playthroughs, especially the UMKD mod, and because there's so many more characters, you can do like full team compositions with a theme, and that rules. That's really cool to do. And I've had ones going for like half an hour, like over that. It can get very intense, and it's really cool. It's really cool that you have that challenging with the AI. Like it's not complete bullshit. Like I play it on max difficulty, whereas when I'm casually playing, the normal game, I'll put it on hard, because max difficulty is beatable. I'm good enough to beat it, but it's often not that fun, right? Unless you want to go out of your way to have a challenge, because the AI does just read stuff quite annoyingly, and it limits what you can do. But it is a good challenge. But it is chess. I think like max difficulty, that's just perfect. I think it's quite a perfect difficulty. It's just really cool. Chess combat is just so good, right? I know I said Starsvio, I wouldn't spend much time gassing it up. I think I mentioned the key stuff with this game, why it's so beloved, and chess combat is the main thing for me. I think it's a crime that it's only been in one game, because I do think it is better than just a regular match. I genuinely think it is way more fun. I think this is just the best MK experience. This mode alone, right? And then like on top of this, you have puzzle combat, and then fucking conquest, which, despite some glaring continuity bullshit, tells a very compelling story with Chijinko. I think it makes Chijinko the most complete character in the franchise. I think Chijinko is the best character in the series. And it is kind of a crime that we haven't had him for so long. I mean, we have him as a cameo now, and he's incredible there as well. Hopefully he's fully playable next game. I don't know. But yeah, it's really cool. And obviously you get to explore the realms and whatnot, and there's side quests, and it's cool, right? Like everyone loves Conquest. I at the time, because I mean, again, I'll tell us when I get to talk about my own experiences and stuff. I definitely was not there for the game's release. But I like looking back on like old forums or like reviews, and it's quite common to bash the Conquest mode. I guess because the graphics aren't good or whatever. Like even for that time, they were definitely scaled back to the rest of the game, which I think is understandable, especially when it's a side mode and it has so much going on. Like, this should just be a fighting game, and it puts so much extra stuff into it, and the story, and the world building, and you get the game modes, and fight challenges, so there's unique gameplay there, which Why don't MK would just take the modifiers that Fight Challengers had and just make whole game modes out of that? They've done that twice now with little extra on top of it. It's just regular fighting, and that's your side mode. Whereas Deception has three extra game modes here that feel like completely different games, and I think that's why it's such a good game. It feels so complete. It has so much content. The Ross is pretty damn good. Definitely up there. I mean, not a crazy number of characters. I mean, 24, 25, you can't even smoke as separate characters, obviously. That's a good amount. That's a strong amount. That's normally what you get for a base roster, because NRS do not increase their base roster sizes, so you have to rely on what the DLC adds, and the DLC has been taking like the count for MK cars close to the 30s, and with like MK12 having actual 3-year reps, like I feel like MK12's roster with the cameos and whatnot, I think a roster like that has beaten Deceptions, but I don't think before that this was like arguably the best one. Even about like the exclusive characters, right? Like this is a good lineup of 3-year reps and returns, and even at the time, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter now, but at the time, so many big returns. There's only 6 characters that were in Daylines that showed up here, which I wish was a common thing with MK games. I really wish you had that full roster overhaul between games instead of just bringing the same characters back from one game to the next. Noob. And this one we've got Scorpions as our rating because those are like your mainstays. And then 3 Day Alliance newcomers. And because they're new characters, carrying them over is sort of fine. And it's cool to see them continue. And obviously Mei, Kenshin, Raicho. Those 3 and Shijinko are basically the faces of the 3D era. Obviously even Lee Mei's returned now. And they're cool, obviously. And you've got a third of us is just newcomers. And I really like the Deception newcomers. There's a lot of fucking slander, Cobra and Dairu especially. But I think they're cool characters. They have good backstories. Cool lore and whatnot. I mean, they don't... Dairu does, I suppose. He has helped Shijinko out in Conquest, but it's mostly like side plot stuff that wasn't really essential, but it's not bad stuff, and both of them are definitely fun to play. I mean, I think everyone's seen it's quite fun to play, regardless of balancing stuff, which isn't particularly noticeable offline anyway. And besides, like the tier list ranking for like offline play or playing against AI is just completely different anyway. So I think the balancing doesn't really matter at this point, unless you are one of the few people playing it like competitively and online and whatnot. But I suppose it matters. But even then, like, it's just for fun, right? And yeah, it's a sick roster. So many classic returns as well. Like, this was the first game to really start bringing MK3 characters back. There's like 7 here, I think. And before that, the only ones that returned was Cyrax, and then Noob and Sector would be secret characters in MK4/Gold. And then they did the same thing for the Tournament Edition on the GBA, which is weird how that was a consistent pattern for a time. Whereas here we got, Smoke, Noob, Sindel, Nightwolf, Ermac, Jade, and even you got Tang as MK4 rep. I think he should have had more MK4 reps. Really, that's the one thing this era really fumbled on, is like bringing MK4 characters back. That's more of a Deadly Alliance problem though than this game. But yeah, Deadly Alliance had some weird omissions. But yeah, this is a good roster. It's got a good variety of the 2 eras here. And it continues to stand out and be unique as a roster to this day. Again, I really like it. I don't think because the newcomers for this game alone, and New Smoke will always be a unique depiction of these characters, a unique way to experience them. But there's definitely a lot of cool stuff for this roster that you're not really going to see anywhere else. So yeah, I think it's great. Then UMKD fucking just pulls up. I think it's been going for like a year now, I guess. I mean, I've been following it. I remember, which by the way, this is a mod made by a Mesa, or a Maka, however you pronounce it. And he's done so much cool shit with just modding for MK in general, but like this is especially is really cool. You've got the Unchained exclusives. You've got Onaga, albeit the same as the NPC Onaga, but with an Armageddon alt color, so I guess that's something new. But then you've got like all these original characters who just they were either NPCs for Deception or just weren't in the game in any playable format, like Sonya, Johnny, and then you've even got some characters that weren't even in Deadly Alliance. So you've got Rain, Serena, Sector, Rico, fucking Tremors here. And it's just really cool to see. It's really cool to see, game's 20 years old now and there's this mod that's still ongoing. I don't know how much longer it's going on for, but it's already such a good amount. It's made this already pretty complete game feel extra complete, right? Like, again, before this mod, I already thought Deception was the best game, but with UMKD, it has to be. It has to be the best one. I really don't think there's any contest now. So that's really cool to get new experience for these new characters. Especially someone who has been a fan of the game since it released 20 years ago. To see new stuff in it, that is crazy, and it does feel like official content, even though it's a mod. So definitely credit to Mesa there. A lot of cool stuff. And yeah, I think that generally covers thoughts on the game, right? I mean, there's other stuff like the stage selection is incredible, but that's another thing I've also already done a whole video for, how the stages are as important as characters in Deception, because the interactivity, the multi-tiered stuff, and the stage transitions, the death traps, the weapons, albeit the weapons aren't really that useful, but they're still cool that they're there. And the Thorax is useful, and the cleaver sometimes, but it's so risky to grab it. So that just a cool little extra, and you've even got like bonus features like the Never Ship Interior, the hanging corpse cell, and ragdoll physics, you can ping around. Hard to do accurately, but it's a lot of fun when it does happen. There's just so much charm in that, and obviously the soundtrack's fantastic. It just does everything right for the most part. And I think it has aged well. I know there's a lot of people who will harp on it, on like the mechanics, some balancing stuff, but I really do think it's generally solid. And there's also I don't agree with general. Like, I know people say the movements age poorly, and I don't get that. I think it runs quite well, and I don't get the whole the movements are janky thing, because MK9 is way jankier. Which I mean, every video I've got to get this in, right? Like how I fucking hate MK9, but it's true. It's so, the movements are so stiff, and there's literally fucking wave dashing, right? Like you're literally fucking breaking the game to dash and stuff. Whereas Deception, you just have like regular dashing. It all works. You got 3D movement. It's quite easy to do a jump, right? Because diagonal input. At least with like the Xbox 360 controller, it's great because you've got like the side circle things for the diagonal inputs on the D-pad. And you just press straight up to move up. Same for crouching and going down. I think it's a great system. I don't know how anyone would really struggle with the movement. I think it was done really well. And then MK versus DC fucking over convoluted it by having you have to hold like the left trigger or use the joystick for 3D movement. Oh my god, I fucking hate that. But yeah, I really think it's near perfect. It's just a great experience. Very good one to go back to, or just try out new, because again, I'm now going to go into my actual history of the game, because it's not a long history. I've had the game for like just over 4 years now, right? I was like 15 at the time as well, so I should clarify. This game is older than me by like just a little under a year. The Xbox Live trial sticker for Area 51 that expired like 3 months before I was born. So I was not there for the release reception because I didn't exist as a full human being yet. And yeah, I got into the game with like, I didn't get into MK from this. My first game was MK9, but as I always say, I hate that game. Hated it then, hated it now. Have no nostalgia for it whatsoever. I think it is a fundamentally bad game. But that is a topic for another time. Then I got MKX. And I mean, you can like sort of share digital games if you connect like a friend's account. I wrote to a friend's account and they had MKX, so I was like, okay, I'll try this one because I didn't like the last one. And I quite enjoyed this one. I don't really care for it now. I get the appeal of it now. But when I want to revisit now, I understand how the games play. But as a casual, it had a versus mode against AI. You can put whatever matchup you want, which how it took that long to get in the game, I don't know, which I suppose is the criticism for Deception as well. That's criticism for any MK game that excluded having a regular versus option against AI. That is such a basic thing to add, and I never did it. And this achievement, the first one I got, that's like June 2016, so around that time I would have started the game. I think it was like right after the KP2 would have came out or whatever, around that time. So a bit after its release. And I probably got MK9 like the year before or something close like that. It was like for sale, right? Like it was like an older game, so it wouldn't have been like when it was the newest MK. I think MKX would have been out by then. So I've probably been a fan since 2016. Let's go with that. Which is fucking 8 years now somehow, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't MK11. That was one I pre-ordered, and I actually have a weird nostalgia for it now. I do enjoy that game. Like I say, I love it because it does have a lot of issues. That's how I learned how to play Mortal Kombat games. And then my next game is this. Deception. This is the date I got it. It came in the mail. Right, I took a photo of it. This is it, right, on the Xbox. I got it. I wanted it as soon as I figured out that it's backwards compatible on Xbox 360. I'm like, I have an Xbox 360. This is before I figured out emulation. And when I did, I only just got like a laptop that can properly run stuff, right? So my emulation experience has been like being a shitty mobile pleb. That was like my only option until recently. So what I have been playing has been through phone anyway. So not the ideal experience. So it is good to have this physical game anyway. But yeah, playing on the Xbox 360 was my first experience with this game. Which, if you don't know, it's backwards compatible. Like I said, worth getting. I mean, this costs like £5. Might cost more in other countries. I know Armageddon for the Xbox over here is ridiculously expensive, and that's why I don't own it. And Shadow Monks is also backwards compatible. Daylights is not. But yeah, Armageddon, Deception, and Shadow Monks are. So if you got an Xbox 360, you want to get those games, they should work. So yeah, I got the game and I really liked it. I remember, again, it's only 4 years ago, but there was a weird nostalgia. Like the first week I got to finally play these games because, like I said, going to game MKX, probably when I was very casual with that, I would have started looking at videos of MK, right? And I remember you'd see gameplay of this 3D era, and that seemed like the coolest shit. I remember seeing Zombie Liu Kang, this is Dark Raiden, in the Dark Prison. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is rad. I want that game. And when I found out, I mean, by 2020, I was pretty knowledgeable. Like, once MK11 was out, like, I wasn't a casual anymore. I was a fucking MK nerd by then. So by 2020, I already know everything with the game and whatnot. But it took me a while to learn that it does run on Xbox 360. So, yeah, I was very late to get in this game, of course. But I think it's the oldest game I own physically. It has to be. It has to be. Like, excluding, like, ports of games, like, this is the oldest thing here. The closest, like, probably, like, 2005 DS games. So, yeah, it's before my time, definitely. But I think it has aged really well, and that's coming from someone who, I am labelled a retro gamer at this point. I don't really agree with it, because all I really play is mid to late 2000s games, and I guess some early 2010 stuff. But because it's not like, it is before, like, like it's Xbox 360 gen, I'm still on that generation of consoles. It's considered retro now. So, it is one of the oldest games I played. I've definitely played older ones, but I normally don't play many games from, before like 2005, right? So, I think it's aged really well, though. And there's a lot of games that I've tried that I don't think have aged well. And this is one I think just aged really well since I first played it. Picking Cobra. That's the first character I played. Picked Cobra. I remember the tower playthrough. Finding fucking Diary on the lower mines. Really cool. Really cool. And I unlocked everything within like a week. I cleared out the crypt, and this is from my manual that came with the game. I wasn't going to use it, but it already had drawing in it, so I was like, okay, might as well use it then. But if it was like a untouched one, then I would have left it that way. But since it wasn't, I put it to use. Which, by the way, can we get manuals that are like actually important? I know why they stopped. One, it costs more. And also, like most games, they just stop putting like useful stuff in manuals. It's more usually just basic controls and whatever policy stuff, right? Like so especially like Xbox 360 era. That's when you still get a lot of pointless manuals. That just how you control you can find the game, right? But like this, you've got like this sheet for the crypt. This one, somewhere in color. This one isn't. You've got a note section. Well, let me tell you, useful for making a list of fatalities, which this is like fucking insane scribblings. But when I play on 360, I find that more convenient than going on a obnoxious website or bothering to go out make a Google Doc. I'm going to just have the manual there for figuring out the fatalities, the harakiris. I don't know why I did it in this format, right? Like F is for forward, for example, and U's up, B's back, D's down. I don't know why I did it that way. And some of the stuff is just wrong. And I've had to scribble through and change a lot of it. There's a piece of paper taped on top because I ran out of room. That's more stuff. But I understand it. I understand what the fucking caveman scribblings I've put down. So it doesn't really matter as long as I understand it. But again, that's just very cool, right? That's just very cool. Like I'm quite fond of this manual. I mean, just looking for it in general, it's just really cool. It's a really cool thing to have. And yeah, I cleared out the crypt, fucking in a week. Got everything. Took a lot of time, but it was a very enjoyable grind. I definitely think you need a guide to unlock everything. I can't imagine anyone who is 100% this game without a guide, right? Like going in blind. I can't imagine most people have ever done that, even back in the day. I don't know who. I don't know who the fuck. I don't know who the fuck discovered shit like where you unlock Liu Kang, right? Like, or like Shujinko's moves. Most of them being like so time specific, and I can't find that stuff. It's very cool hidden stuff, but they made it so hard that you do need a guide for a lot of it. I feel like if they didn't put stuff on a timer, or the timer was less strict, like the timer is like at night, and then some also have like a date restriction, like a certain day a month, like the 15th of the month, right? That's for one of the Shujinko's moves, if I recall correctly. But some are available for like an hour or on a certain day. And it's really cool to have such hidden stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be genuinely looking out for them. But as soon as you are, then that's a lot more playtime, figuring that stuff out. And there's definitely a lot to do in Conquest, obviously, but that was something you need a guide to go through most of it, I feel, without missing stuff. But yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. I'm really quite have a lot of fond memories. Well, I do now, but I'll continue to have them of the first week I got this game, and playing through, and it was just really cool. This stuff that I've been wanting to play for so long, because this game seemed to have fucking everything, right? So much to do, so much cool shit, and now I'm going to experience it. And now there's even more content, right, on my laptop. I can play that, and that's just really cool. So yeah, I mean, the year after, right, I'm still playing the game more than like MK11. It's my main game, my main Mortal Kombat game by that point. And I'm doing speedruns. If you go to my channel, like this is the chess card record I'm showing now. Like if you go to my channel, you keep scrolling back to like a few years back, all the videos are just this. And I had no capture card. I still don't. I might now have a computer that I'd be able to, to be able to use one. So I'd only record it and upload to YouTube just for like evidence, right? Evidence of that I did a run, because you need video footage obviously to submit it to speedrun.com, and I have the world record. I believe this is the one you'll find if you go to Interception speedruns. This is the one you'll find in the chess comment category. I have two with the exact same time. Maybe there's like there's probably is a millisecond different, but I have the world record anyway, so I'm not going to bother trying to compare the two. So I just speedrun stuff, and that's sort of a period where I wasn't really doing YouTube stuff, so you'll sort of find the first area of this channel is where I'm doing like stuff from my Xbox One, and it's just random game stuff. Then it becomes more focused. It becomes more focused on MK11, but that was how. Then I just stopped for the most part. I stopped, and then I was doing speedruns. And I was just using YouTube as a way to have a place where they're uploaded. It was less for people to really watch it, and more just evidence for runs. And yeah, I then came back, and I've been doing more commentary stuff, and this is where we are now. I was still revisiting the game. I mean, I completely reset my original play, my save file, because I wanted to. This is a problem with a video. This is like one blemishes that seems small, but when you're playing as regularly as me, you get tired of it, and that's tower presets. They went out of the way to make dedicated presets that are just so lame, and when you unlock stuff, it overwrites stuff, and in Deception, you lose access to the pit, which that's not really a big deal, because you can select a stage in chess combat, and obviously the pit's an option there. But you also lose Chamber of Artifacts, a really cool and unique stage. You can't play with that. So I went out of my way. I deleted my profile and I started over at 100% Conquest again because it's fucking fun. The only reason I haven't done it so long is because I don't, the history of all the coins I got, which useless because I cleared out the crypt. But a fun thing to do is, collecting all the coins, especially if you play chess combat as much as me. There's only 2 coin types again, and you rack up so many of them. It was sort of cool to see how high the count would go. These are stats from my original save before I reset. The 2-player wins are just from transferring coins. Because you could do extra profiles, I mean, you still can. And then you can wager coins, and then you can just transfer them to your account. I didn't actually play 2-player on this account. And yeah, look at the gold coins I have. That's a ridiculous amount. And I took this photo of it, and then I reset. And I 100% the game again, except what I avoided was unlocking certain stages to get better tower presets. I avoided getting any of the chess combat stages because, weirdly enough, you can select them from chess combat having to unlock them. Meaning, I still play in the pit anyway if I want that. That basic grid. It's just a square base. If I want a stage of that, then that's the only one I need. I don't have to unlock the other 4 because I can just pick them in chess. And another problem with the tower presets in Deception was just it gets so convoluted with those chess stage types, which aren't the most exciting thing. There's 4 of them, and they often show up, especially when they're unlockables. And I also avoided getting the Deadly Alliance stages, Quan Chi's Fortress and the Quarton Palace. I might get them now, especially as UMKD exists and has random towers. Meaning this, that if I had that mod before this, if it existed before this, then I probably wouldn't have restarted. But it's still good to have, if I want to just play vanilla Deception on my actual Xbox. It is a much better experience if you do it that way. If you avoid those certain things, I don't know what stage facility ends up fully replacing the Chamber of Artifacts. I don't know if it is. I imagine if I got the Deadline stage, it wouldn't, but I avoided it. Just because I do get a better variety anyway, and also the Nexus is, again, they're both circle shaped arenas with a ring out, so the Nexus I got that instead because that's a Deception original stage. And yeah, that's more enjoyable. So if you're playing vanilla Deception, I'd recommend doing something like that. I think it makes presets a lot better. Obviously, there's certain things that you can't really sort out, once you unlock all characters, then you can't fight Cabal, which has been really crazy fighting Cabal in a regular match with UMKD because I'm so unused to it. But that doesn't really matter. Ultimately, that's small. The stages definitely do, and getting that better stage variety does make it a lot more enjoyable. I don't know why they had presets, because they had to go out of their way to make presets. It would have been easy to just fully randomize everything. I don't know why they didn't do that. So that is one thing that I will criticize this game and Armageddon for. Armageddon is even worse because Outworld, Spire, and the Firewall, and the Firewall is awesome. They don't show up at all unless you got the Wii version. they don't even show up occasionally and get replaced by anything because the conquest stages, they're not interactive, but they are like distinct layouts, and a lot of them are classic stages. They don't show up at all either. And yeah, for a roster of like 60 plus characters, the Armageddon presets get fucking tired quick. And they don't really follow a theme. Some do, and then it gets broken. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the preset thing. It's unnecessary, and it just creates repetitiveness. Thankfully, Mace has obviously got mods that are fully randomized stuff. There's also a versus mod that I got working, and that's how I do my Armageddon versus series. And yeah, you can still play Chain of Artifacts in Vanilla Deception if you avoid the stages I mentioned. But that is definitely an issue with the game. So I mean, I think that covers everything, you know, kind of like some of my experiences with the game. And just some general information, right? A little mini review, you know, all the cool stuff people love about this game. It's sick, right? Especially with the UNKD mods. I'm gonna keep playing it pretty regularly. I'll of course take breaks every now and then, but it's always going to be a game I return to. And the breaks won't be long, right? Like, it's not one I've dropped for like a year. Yeah, like I drop it for months and I revisit it. So I've never had a long break from the game. And considering how old the game is, in fact I've had it for 4 years now, I think that says a lot about how enjoyable this game is. It's probably not my main game, even though I am playing it a bit more because UNKD. I'm not playing it too much with college stuff and trying to focus on other projects, but obviously YouTube still trying to be active enough to get the watch hours I need for monetization, to get them YouTube pennies. I mention that every commentary, I think. I'm not begging, I swear. So yeah, I think that's everything. I don't really have a specific point to the video. I just want to talk about the game. Let me know your thoughts on Deception. Right, any experiences you have. And yeah, happy birthday, Deception. Happy anniversary. Gonna keep playing you for however many more years. And you're still gonna get new stuff, right? Like with the UNKD mods, and I think hopefully, even when that mod's done, you'll see more people modding stuff, right? Like, I mean, I'm not good enough to do any programming stuff for this game, but I've been doing texture mods myself, and I know other people have. I think you're starting to see a rise in popularity for UNKD modding, mainly thanks to Mesa, of course, and just emulation tools in general. It's really awesome to see, because I was always hoping for free era mods, right? Adding new characters to a game and whatnot. And now in a time where we're literally getting that, and we're getting so many, we're getting the Deception roster doubled. It is really cool. And I look forward to seeing what happens next. I know a lot of people want this game remastered. I don't even want that at this point. Because UNKD is just better. I'd be playing that instead of, you know, whatever the new version is, albeit it would be more accessible online, so I guess that's a cool thing. I definitely should do a 3-year collection for modern platforms for sure, though. I think that's easy money, but so I guess rather WB's the one making decisions there. They just don't want to do that stuff, I guess. Regardless, there's still stuff going on, even in an unofficial capacity with the mods. And I'll be doing more texture mods. One thing I've been working on is the Dead Knight's alternate costume for Raiden. I mean, I haven't touched on it in a while, but I think it's possible. Just give me time. And you might see it by the 30th anniversary. And what it is I'm using Dead Alliance textures for the alt over the Deception alt, because they're both like a samurai theme, They're a bit different though, mainly in the legwear. So it's not exact, and the textures don't line up anyway, so I've still got to do some custom edits and whatnot. But I think you can put the parts together and create a pretty accurate variant. But I haven't gone too far of it. I've only changed like the bead colours and the skin, and even that's not proper yet. And it was just kind of annoying me. So I've taken a break from the texture stuff, but that's definitely a project I'll look to revisit and complete. But yeah, that's it. Happy anniversary again to Deception, and thanks for watching.